Welcome back to the Asylum.
I'm Kane.
And I'm Deshaun.
And we are the Arkham inmates. Now for today's video, we have a movie review, and we are going to be reviewing the movie KRAVEN the Hunter. Now, this movie is going to be not the best movie. It was very...
trash, ass, iffy. Booty cheeks.
Yeah, so I took a lot of notes while watching the movie.
I was on my phone playing games.
No, you were on your phone the whole time? I was on my phone taking notes, so we're gonna go through a bunch of the notes that I have when, you know, a lot of the things that I picked up on, some good, some bad, and let's,
The Winter Soldier was a part of it.
No, it wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Oh, really?
No.
They had so many fucking storylines.
Yeah.
I thought that he was part of it.
Let's get into it.
When the man comes around.
Alright, so we are gonna get into KRAVEN the Hunter and the movie review. So, first off, we waited a little bit later than opening night. We waited, you know, a good little week just to hear how it is.
We didn't need to see it.
This wasn't a huge, like, we gotta see KRAVEN. I'm a fan of the character. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. I love KRAVEN's story, just how he is in the comics when he's done right. And this movie, he was good, and Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I meant not Karen. KRAVEN was done well, like him as a character.
Yeah.
But as a movie, it just wasn't it.
It just was flat, the whole movie. So we're gonna go through these points that I was writing down halfway through the movie. So the first one I wrote, fine opening, but the shitty title screen with a cringe lion roar jump scare thing.
I didn't like the opening too much.
I thought it was fine. I liked it. Was so the movie opens up.
You meant that much open up.
Okay, so the movie opens up with he breaks out of prison after I guess he purposely goes to prison. He purposely goes to prison to kill some mob boss dude that's in prison that runs it.
He was a poacher.
Yeah, he breaks out of prison after killing the dude, and it's pretty well shot. I like it. It's all snowy. It's all in Russian.
I will say the one thing about that in the snow scene, there's a wolf in a snowstorm. That wolf would not be in that fucking snowstorm. Yeah. Like what?
And also they're like. I get that it's this movie is filled with, oh, that's a cool shot, but why is it there? That's exactly what this movie is, because like the snowstorm was really cool, but he's also like, he's in like, it looks like a barren wasteland. Yeah. Like a wolf would not be there.
And he's like, walking on the snow. It's not like he's knee deep. It's so snowy, you would be knee deep. You wouldn't be walking on it.
It's not like ice. It's
snow.
He's walking on pavement when it's this blizzard.
Yeah.
And then the wolf would not just, and especially it wouldn't be just one lone wolf. And they do this thing with his eyes where he's like, I'm gonna calm down the creature, like calm down the wolf, and the wolf's like, oh shit, you're literally every animal in this was like, oh shit, you're chill.
You're the alpha.
Oh shit, dude. Like, oh, you're a chill dude, and like
you're a true alpha.
It felt like every time he looked at an animal, it was a dap up, and then it just like left. Yeah. They were like, dude, didn't know you were chill like that.
I know you were chill like that. Bro.
Yeah, and then they just fucking left. So any high budget movie, like your title screen should be cool. It literally looked like Times New Roman. It looked horrible. It looked like KRAVEN, and in the Hunter underneath, it was like
some kind of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, we'll get to that too. But it just did not look good. It literally was like a PowerPoint presentation font, and then they did this weird lion black and white jump scare of a roar. Yeah. So like it was like a split second. It was like roar, KRAVEN the Hunter, which was so cringy. I was like, I had to write that down. That started my notes. 20-30 minutes of the movie is the origin. Yeah. It's like when they're kids. So KRAVEN, him and his brother, which is Sergey and Dmitri, and their dad, which is Russell Crowe, and it's basically how Sergey got to become KRAVEN. But it takes forever. It
didn't need to be that long.
No, it's really like 20-30 minutes of the fucking movie.
It was like fucking...
It was so long. It was like...
a Spider-Man origin story or something. Like, Jesus, like... I mean, in those movies it's good, but it didn't need to be that long.
It started in America. They're in school.
Yeah.
And then they get...
The dad pulls up to the private school.
Their mom died. Yeah. And now they have to leave...
to go hunting after the mom died.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of sense?
So they go hunting, and then they
talk about a legend of a special lion that kills.
Yeah, and that they've been searching for
2,000 to 3,000 men
That's also crazy.
Yeah, no.
Think about 3,000.
The government would be after that line.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, like they said, oh, it's killed 2,000, 3,000 men.
I need to become a legend.
Yeah, but here's another thing. I hate when movies do this. Like, they're searching for this line and they hear a bunch of other lines. No, you'll hear it when you hear it. And then somehow the next day the boys find the line.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like that.
Plot.
But the whole time that we're going through this whole thing of Kraven becoming this character and then like learning what his dad does and like this whole thing, he basically like, it's like so stale. I didn't like the young actor that tried to play young Kraven. He was like, "Do you live here?"
Well, I think both of those
like,
kid actors were pretty stale.
Yeah, I don't mean to be mean, like, but it was like no emotion.
In all fairness, their dialogue was ass too.
Well, yeah, the dialogue was horrible, so it wasn't really a good thing for them. But the one thing that made me like when I first wrote that down, he's like yelling at Russell Crowe, and he's like, "It should have been you," and like it's like the most like he's supposed to yell in his dad's face, like "It should have been you," like emotion, but he was like, "It should have been you," like it was like, dude, whoa, like, and then Russell Crowe's like. He likes to grab his sons a lot. So he'll be like, you think you know.
And
like, he's like, you think you know. Like, he'll be like that the whole movie. And the kids are like, just moving with it. Like, not even trying to fight their father off. It's very weird. But the young actors are just, it was just stale. I don't know if you agree. Yes. But like, every 5 minutes, it was like, we're here.
Everywhere.
We're here. And then we're here. And then we're there. Like, it was like, it started in Russia. We're in Russia in the prison. That was a good opening. And then it goes straight to a flashback, which was kind of sudden. It was a random flashback. Yeah. Then we're in America at a school. No, he picked them from America in school, and then they flew to Africa.
Yeah.
Which they didn't show any of that. Like, so they're in America, they're in school, the boys, this is the flashback. Then they fly to Africa to go hunting with their father, literally right after the death of their mother, which obviously Russell Crowe doesn't care about at all. And their dad's name is Nikolai, but I'm just gonna call him Russell Crowe. But so they go hunting, and then we're in Africa for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then
boy gets bitten by a radioactive lion.
Yeah, basically, and then
actually the special potion.
Yeah, the special witch potion that never gets brought up again until the very end when we all knew that. Come on. But, so they go through to, I think, London. I think that's where the lawyer's at. So then they go to London, and then they go from London to eastern, like, Russia again. And then they go from Russia.
Then they go to, like, Turkey.
Yeah, and then they go to Turkey. They're like, it is like.
All over the place.
All over the place. And it's like, what's the time here? Like, even if you're in a private jet, like, it's not like, the movie seems like it's like...
Teleportation.
A couple days within, like, this story takes place within 1 week, which it's like, it doesn't. This is like months and
Travel
months and
expenses alone.
It's, like, it just, nah. It was too many places at once. Like, they should have just stuck, they probably spent more of the budget going to all these places or trying to recreate the look of these places than the actual movie. It did, Sony has definitely a problem with that. I said it was a nice setup with Chameleon. What I mean by that, I wrote it down here. Okay, so I said I knew it was him since it was the beginning of the movie, but I said it was a cool idea with the singing aspect of him being a pianist. Okay. I liked how, like, we obviously have this weaker son.
His own personal quirks as, like, a regular human.
Regular person. He's trying to figure out what he can do. He's trying to figure out stuff. And they keep bashing it over your head that he's like a chameleon. Yeah. He mimics people so well, like a chameleon. It's like so many winks. There's so many like, do you get it? Like,
I will say, when he first did it, it did catch me off guard. They were on the stairwell as kids, and they were going down.
I love that. That's what I was talking about. Like, it starts off as a joke between the brothers that they mimic their dad, and that he goes like, oh, like, he starts talking, and then he goes right into talking exactly like Russell Crowe. So instead of him trying to, like, it's done through audio editing, so it's Russell Crowe speaking, but it's the mimicking of the voice just so they can get it right and perfect, just to show you how good he is at it. But then they take it a lot of steps further because he sings in this nightclub that his dad owns, and he's also a pianist that plays. But he also starts, like, every song that he sings is the song, like, it's the actual singer. So if he, for example, if he like sang
Bruno Mars,
he would sound exactly like Bruno Mars. And then his dad would tap on the shoulder and be like, he's like a chameleon. And it's, I just thought it was a cool idea, but they just keep bashing your head over like, do you know who this character is? So, like, that was annoying. the first chase scene was awesome. Is when Dimitri, Kraven's brother, gets kidnapped.
Yes, that was great. The choreography was wonderful.
That was
a
probably
good...
the best part of the movie.
Yeah, when he fell from the building, the first thing he did.
That was
Dude,
so
shit.
To give a context, Dimitri is on his birthday. They come home. They're drunk. Well, Dimitri's drunk, so he goes to bed, and then Kraven is trying to sleep on Dimitri's couch, but he just, I guess,
is so used.
He's so used to sleeping in the woods because he's a
his
woodsman.
senses are like messing up with
So
the city.
he goes into a walk and falls asleep in a park, I presume, and then he walks back to Dimitri's apartment, which is the penthouse at this building that his dad owns. And there's a funny scene of like
hold the elevator.
Yeah, there's a dude that won't hold the elevator, so he throws a knife at it and stops the elevator. And he's like, "Oh, I was gonna hold it, bro." And he's like, "No, you weren't." And he's like, "Oh, I hunt people for a living." It's kind of like the joke gets stale at the end of it, but it's a good start. And then he sees that his brother is just taken, gone. And what's really cool is I like how it wasn't something like close by. It was like he looked over the balcony and saw that they were already down there. Like, they were already down there kidnapping his brother. So the only gripe I had, though, is that why didn't you see that he walked right in? So he would have seen them at some point. It was like, I guess they waited for him to, like, leave into the elevator and then take him out. Like, he came in the same way they left. Yeah. That was a bit weird. Like, that didn't make sense editing-wise. But that aside, he jumps from, like, probably like 20 stories up. He just jumps from the top of the balcony and he hits into the side wall of the glass and he falls down and takes it like a fucking champ. And the CGI is done really well, but he like totally gets back on his feet. The running in this I actually really like.
And he starts chasing a car.
He starts chasing a car. He jumps up. He starts running through like a college campus.
There is one thing I will say that I didn't like about that with the choreography and I mean the sense of it all. He was chasing a car. It was bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
And he was punching the window, trying to break it. But you see later on in the movie, he does things that are like, how the hell? Like, where'd you get the strength for that? Or how'd you survive that? Like, you should be able to punch through bulletproof glass.
I see what you mean. The whole scene, though, like, just as an enjoyment of action, it was really good. Kraven is just really good at, like, Aaron definitely, I don't know how much of the stunts Aaron actually did, but his movement, like when he's moving, he does like corkscrews and he's flipping around stuff and he's running up. They shot really well, actually, which is kind of funny of like, the rest of the movie's kind of lackluster except for those moments. So I'm glad that they honed in on action, but that first chase scene was just awesome. It was just really fun to watch. I think Russell Crowe was a great...
Well, he's always a great actor.
Russell Crowe's an amazing actor, so I didn't think he'd be bad, but like his Russian was very good. His voice, his like presence as this just overbearing, like power-hungry father. It was really good, and I could see him being the father of Kraven. Humor is only good, every other joke kinda cringe, and I wrote dumb archery jokes. So this movie is riddled with super just not landing jokes. Like some of them are like, haha, that's funny. Like
some Marvel Disney jokes.
Like it's worse than that. It's like. So there's this one scene that's, I think it's worse. There's, at least with Marvel, I can see where they're coming from. This one, it's like they really forced it. It's like high school again. Like, the one that me and you both laughed at is, so Calypso's in this, which in the comics, Calypso is Kraven's wife, which they don't even go down that road at all, which is kind of lame because that's a big part of why Kraven does what he does, is for his love of Calypso. But he also, like, he's like showing her all of the stuff that he has, like his archery and weapon. And so she picks up this compound bow and she like goes at it and he's like, hey, you might want to be careful with that thing, you know, doing the whole like, I guess the man thing of like, hey, you can't handle that. And she goes, actually, I am pretty good with a bow. Archery, summer camp. That's exactly how it's delivered. It is, and I literally chuckled and look, we were both like, what the fuck? Who wrote that? Like, she's got the bow ready, and she's like...
And right after, when the goons showed up, this bitch was suited up, ready to go. Like, what the fuck is she gonna do?
Yeah, and by the way, it's only like a couple regular goons. The rest is Rhino, this dude with the superpowers of, like, making you hypnotize.
1, 2, 3.
That got annoying as shit. All she did was wait for him to get fucking
almost dead.
Pour some more liquid into him. Which
should have given him more powers.
He even asked. She's like, "You got more of that stuff?" She's like, "No, sorry, I don't got shit."
Hold on. And then she said, "Forgive me for not trusting like a lunatic with my family's legacy or something, like the little vial of the serum."
Yeah.
But she follows this nigga through everywhere. She got on a plane with him, followed him to Africa.
In comics, And also, like, any, like, Spectacular Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man, like, anytime there's Kraven in an animated series of Spider-Man, he's always like, the spider. Like, he's always like, I'm going to attack you, like, or you think you can out-beast Kraven the Hunter. Yeah. He always talks like that, no matter what. And Aaron, I guess, I'm not gonna blame him, but in the beginning, it was really thick Russian. It was really good. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be great. And then he gets on a plane and he's like, well, that was fun. Yeah. That was great. And then he's like, no, my brother, no, Dimitri. But he doesn't even call him Dimitri. He calls him Dummy. Yeah, it's a weird nickname. It didn't really fit well. But he's like, no, Dimitri, no. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. But that just didn't land. I want a KRAVEN Russian accent the whole time. He's Russian. That's just how it goes. But for him to be like, yes, like, I am the KRAVEN the Hunter, and then he goes over and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get my brother back. It just takes me out. It was just not good. She kills one of the main dudes with the bow that she knew how to use, and she goes, and he has the thing like you were saying. He goes 1, 2, and then at 2 he like, I don't know.
He gets hit with the bow in the eye.
Yeah.
And she goes, 3, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like a Sam Jackson line. Yeah. But not Sam Jackson. It's annoying. Stop. And then right after that, he goes, those must have been some summer camp then. And she goes, yeah, I have secrets too. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like,
what secrets, bro?
Yeah, what
your mom and dad were lawyers. You were rich.
Yeah, and your mom was some voodoo queen.
Your grandma.
Yeah, her grandma was a voodoo queen that didn't pass anything down.
Because she died before you could even learn anything.
Yeah.
What secrets did you have? And why do you have all these sources? From where? From who?
Everything in this movie is coincidence. Yeah. Everything is like, oh damn, we have to get some sort. We have to talk to this dude. How are we gonna do that? Oh, I know a guy. Oh, okay. Solved.
My source says this. My source was like.
It's like, oh no, they stole my brother. Where are we gonna get him? Oh well.
Let me talk to my source.
Yeah, they're in Turkey right now. Oh shit. Okay, cool. And then they're like, how are we gonna find KRAVEN? This rose that's only made in one fucking.
Dude, that bothered me. Like what?
Yeah, like. There's this rose that only grows in one place in Siberia, and he used it. That must mean he's in Siberia. Like, it was like, dude, wow, thanks for giving up. They literally like, here's the answer. I hate when movies do that. The gore of this, I don't think it was rated R. No. Was it?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, there was a lot of cussing in this.
I'll check real quick.
Yeah, check real quick. I don't know if it was rated R. I think it was, but the gore was pretty good. Like, they used bear traps, like the actual killing.
It was rated R.
Okay, it was rated R, and it wasn't heavy R, but it was definitely like the bear trap,
the face.
Yeah, the face. A lot of stuff. He
kicked some guy's fucking leg, and you saw it like
sideways. Yeah, he bites a dude's nose off and spit it out. Like it's pretty good on the gore and the actual like killing aspect. But other than that, it was very like limited. It'd be like 30 minutes of nothing happening, and then like gore, and then 30 minutes of nothing happening.
And the gore would be like maybe a minute or two long, and then it was
the best. My personal favorite, the best, which I think is probably yours too, because we both went, ugh. That he has this trap where he like grabs 2 bear claws or bear traps, and he hits this dude's ankles, and then they're chained to some giant rope thing contraption, and it yanks him into a tree stump with a blade in it, and it splits him in half, and it's done so fast that it looks really good. And
I have to say something before I forget.
Okay.
This reminds me, he was chasing when they kidnapped Dimitri. This is what I was comparing it to. He couldn't punch through bulletproof glass,
right?
But he was pulling down a helicopter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like, how the fuck can you pull down a helicopter?
Yeah, he's chasing Dimitri, and the chasing it ends with a helicopter, and he's got him on like this, like, I don't even know what it is. It's just this fabric type thing.
And he's pulling it down with a helicopter.
He's holding it. Like Captain America doing the whole Captain America thing, and then he's just yanking this thing down, and like, then he swims like a fish, and he's like swimming through, and he's like, yeah, I got it. And then he gets hit by a fucking buoy. And then it's so weird. Of his power scaling is so weird. This version of Rhino is super weird, and the CGI looks like Supergirl level bad.
Yes. I didn't like the whole backpack idea of keeping him human. Like, I didn't like that.
I actually liked that. I thought that was cool.
Because the way I know Rhino, I mean, obviously
this Rhino has nothing to do with anything, and I don't even think his name was Alexei. Did we even get his name?
I don't think we did.
I think it was just called the Rhino.
Yeah.
But like,
the dude that felt insulted by his dad.
Yeah, also, tying every single villain to the dad is dumb as shit. Like, I wanted their dad's respect. I didn't get it. So now I became Rhino. And then the next dude, I wanted your dad's respect. Your dad's people killed my people. Yeah. So now I'm gonna kill you because of your dad. And like,
I thought KRAVEN killed that guy's mentor. And then
oh, he did? I thought it was his dad again.
No, KRAVEN killed the mentor. That's why the foreigner was after KRAVEN.
Okay, that makes sense. But like,
because nobody knew that was
the Rhino in this was like
weird.
The creative choices. I don't like when you look at the character of the Rhino. You can do 3 options. You can do straight comic accurate, which is it's a suit that he can't take off. Like it is a impenetrable suit that it's like once he starts, he can't stop going. And he can't be shot, he can't be anything. He's just stuck in that suit. Mm-hmm. And I think Spectacular Spider-Man did it the best. Well. Where like he's overheating, he's over like
sweating.
They did. If you know about that, then you know, shout out to you guys. But you could also go the mech route, which was Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I'm not a fan of the mech. I like more of a comic accurate suit, but the mech is more reasonable than this shit. Or you go what they did, which is it's a
metahuman type
metahuman skin disease thing. And I actually liked the beginning where he's like, I have to show them what I am, and they shoot him and he goes down and then he pulls the bullets out of his skin and his skin looks like a disease like rhino hide. Like I actually liked that. But then when they go full comic book and they give him a horn and they give him, they like, oh man.
It just looks awful.
He looks awful. He looks just, and then right when he turns, KRAVEN like gives him this look, this like glare. And then he goes, the Rhino points at him, points at who he's gonna attack. And he goes, KRAVEN! Like, KRAVEN! Like it is,
yeah, it's cringy.
Whoever did the creative choices on Rhino, and like, guys, I think this would be cool. Fire him immediately. That was the dumbest shit Sony has pulled.
And fire everybody that let him do it. That didn't say nothing.
Exactly. Who was in there that was like, yeah, that's sick, dude. That's such a sick idea. Where did you come up with that? Like, it was so bad. I liked the actor that played him. I thought he was creepy. I thought he was cool. He was a cool little unique character. But then when he became Rhino, it was worse than Supergirl. It just was not it. This was not as bad as Morbius or Madam Web, but this is still. I gave it in my notes. I said it's a weak 6. It's a weak 6.
I'm more of a 5, but you know.
Yeah, if you saw our before and after reaction, if you saw our YouTube short about that, then you already saw that we gave it a weak 6, and he gave it a 5, and it just was stale. I'd rather watch it than the other one.
It's watchable, but it's like, yeah.
There's some great scenes in it. It's kind of like, you know, like, oh wow, this is cool, but then it just lacks everything else. And
that's kind of what I told him in the movie theater. I was like, there's gonna be scenes that we like, but I don't think this plot's gonna.
No, there was no plot. It was like, it's like, okay, he's doing stuff to stop poachers, cool. Scratch that, he's gonna get back at his father. Scratch that, we're gonna fight the Rhino. Scratch that, now we're gonna fight the foreigner. Yeah. Also, Calypso's a witch now. Scratch that, we're going back to the dad. Scratch that, we're gonna end it with his brother taking over the Empire.
And then you find out the dad was behind it all along.
Oh yeah, which, I mean, I'm not gonna say I knew that to begin with,
but you can take a guess after Rhino's like, it was right in your face the whole time. You're like, okay,
the great KRAVEN the Hunter doesn't know what's in front of his face. And then he's like, my dad. And we're like, my dad. Wow. Haven't seen that before.
The whole fucking movie, he's mad at his dad. He cuts his dad off. Yeah. And at the end, he gets a coat made from the lion that his dad shot that attacked him, and he puts it on and sits in the chair. It's like, dude, you hate your dad, but you're gonna accept this gift?
Yeah. So he gets a letter from him. Yeah. And he's just like, Sergey, and it's Russell Crowe's voiceover, and he's just like, I know that we've had our differences, blah, 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 but you are still a part of the Kravenoffs, and we are the best hunters, and we're the greatest hunters in the world. And that's when he puts on the coat that was made from the lion that bit him, that turned him into KRAVEN, technically. But, like, it doesn't even look, like, that lion's head was humongous. Yeah. And, like, the face isn't even on the jacket. It's just a tan jacket with a lion's mane, which is kind of comic accurate, but really not, because the accuracy is the lion's face. He skinned the lion's head, and he wears the lion's face as the jacket, and they They went all out with the Rhino being weird and crazy out there, but they didn't do that. That's fucking weird. All of the animals, I'll say, looked great. The CGI for the animals looked nice.
He showed there was no explanation on how his powers worked. He can control animals because that bear that killed his dad came out of nowhere. Like,
he has this thing, like in the beginning they do it with like, oh, the wolf backs down because he's like the predator. Okay, and then they have this weird scene where he's fighting a jaguar.
And he's communicating with the buffaloes because he's ordering them.
He tells the buffaloes to go do that, but
so it's like,
mentally. And then he tells a bear to like, okay, I'm leaving now. Go ahead and kill the dad. And like,
yeah, I don't know.
It's just so weird. And then they do this weird thing where the brother is now like, oh, I'm gonna take over the empire. I'm gonna be bad, but like, I still want to be brothers. But then this whole movie, the brother has seen that Kraven hunts men exactly like their dad. Yeah. So why would the brother take on everything the dad's taken on? Now we're gonna get, oh, the Kraven's gonna fight.
And he compared his brother to his dad, like they're completely different. No. And what I didn't like about this is this movie made Kraven to be an anti-hero. Kraven's not an anti-hero.
Kraven's a villain.
Yeah.
Kraven is, you're not supposed to like, I think that's what Sony sucks at.
Yeah.
Sony takes a villain and makes him an anti-hero. The only one that works is Venom, because Venom is a lethal protector. He's always been known that. Venom will do whatever he wants to do, but if Venom's life comes at risk, he will help Spider-Man. It's just how it is. But Kraven is a villain. Yeah. Kraven doesn't give a fuck about anything except being the biggest of the baddest. This whole thing that Kraven fights poachers, is that even...
No, he's a poacher himself.
Yeah, Kraven takes on the biggest animals possible and hangs them on his wall.
I mean, that's the whole plot to Spider-Man 2, the video game for PS5.
Yeah, literally. He goes and he's like, oh, I've defeated everything, I've killed everything, and I'm now going to hunt Spider-Man. Yeah. Like, that's his whole thing. So for him to be like, oh, we have to protect the we have to protect these animals, it's like... I don't even...
He enjoys the hunt, is what it is.
He enjoys the hunt, but he doesn't hunt anything except people, which is not his character. He hunts everything that is a predator to him. Yeah. And that's just... Sony just... I'm glad they're done. They needed to stop. Hand the rights over to Marvel. Let us get a comic-accurate Rhino. Let us get a comic-accurate Sinister Six that's fully fleshed out. Not like No Way Home. No Way Home was great, but it was more of like, hey, let's shove all these stories into once. Nostalgia.
You just wanted to bring back villains or something.
Exactly, but it's like, you end this thing with starting with Chameleon when you know you're not going to do well. Yeah. You added Michael Keaton as the Vulture in Morbius when you know you're not going to do well. You did this whole thing with Madam Web that we're now going to introduce all the Spider-Man and Ben Parker and all this stuff. You're not going to... You know this isn't going to go anywhere, but you're going to hold on to these rights instead of letting Marvel do what we want it to do and see these amazing characters. But overall, week 6, I wouldn't say that everyone that's like, this movie's utter trash, do not see it. No, like, this is my honest reaction. If someone was like, you want to watch the Kraven movie? I'd be like, sure, whatever, put it on. But it is nowhere near...
For me, it's like a background movie.
Exactly. If I'm doing like editing or doing something that I just, I don't really need to pay attention, I'll put it on. And then when I see the chase scene, I'll be like, all right, cool, this will be cool. But I definitely won't be like, bro, you need to go see this. Like, it's not one of those. But overall, week 6, solid 5. If you want to go see it, go see it. Don't let us deter you from seeing a movie that if you really like Kraven, then you might have some fun with it. But for us, just not it. Sony, hand the rights over. All right? Yeah. But thank you for watching. Thank you for, taking the time to listen to us rant about these shitty movies. And thank you for subscribing down below and liking, commenting, sharing, doing all that. And thank you for just being a part of us. And we hope you join us as one of the many inmates in Arkham Asylum. Peace.